Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. Today I'm going to make a quick wall hanging for my living room. I've rearranged my living room and I've got a blank wall space and I need to fill it up because I've got company coming in a couple of weeks and I'm just trying to get everything polished up. Our daughter's getting married and so yeah. I got this sign. I'm sorry, it's really big and it's hard to see. I got this sign at Michael's on clearance for like $4. Our Michael's moved, and so they put a whole bunch of things on clearance at the end of summer. And this is one of their wedding things, I think. They put a whole bunch of things on clearance before they moved to the new store. And I think I got this for like $2, maybe $3. And it is solid wood. It's reinforced. It's got a hanger on it already. And so that's what I'm going to use as my base. And then what I'm going to cover my base with so that I don't even have to take the time to paint this is, this is a nice sign on its own. It's just not my color scheme. So I have this huge piece of paper-backed burlap that I got at a warehouse sale. And I am going to use that to cover my sign base. So I'm going to line it up as best I can. And I'm just going to make a pencil mark. I'm not trying to make this fit perfectly right now because I will cut it off with a razor blade when I'm done to get the edges smooth. Okay, so I'm going to pull my base off for a second. I'm going to cut my burlap paper across that line, and then maybe you'll be able to see a little more of what I'm doing. I'm going to guess that a lot of you do not have a poster board size piece of paper-backed burlap. So some other things that you could do are you could use wrapping paper to decoupage on here. You could just paint this. You could, I have some wrapping paper that is printed with chicken wire, and that's what I was actually going to use. But I'm not exactly sure. I just rearranged this whole entire house, and I'm not exactly sure where that roll of wrapping paper went. So anyway, I have got this cut almost to size, not quite. It's a little bigger just because I like to have things a little bit bigger as I start. I am not going to worry about painting the side because it's kind of a tan rose color anyway. And then I have this page left from last year's 2021 farmhouse calendar, or this year's 2021 farmhouse calendar. I have my 2022s, but I really liked this particular print, so I'm going to use it. I've been waiting for the time to do that. And what I'm going to do is mount it like this, and then I'm going to put a buffalo check bow somewhere up here at the top. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is get this glued down. Now, if you're using wrapping paper, I would recommend Mod Podge or spray adhesive. Get it down as flat as you can. This is so great for decoupaging because it's really sturdy. It's like poster board, and it's very forgiving. So I have this dishwasher safe Mod Podge, which I hate, by the way. I love all the other Mod Podges I've used, but the dishwasher safe one, I'm sorry, doesn't work. Maybe I did it wrong. I tried to follow the directions as best I knew how. So I'm just going to use it up because I have it on hand. So I'm going to put a nice thick coat because it's going to take me a little while to cover this, and I don't want it to dry out before I get there and get it stuck down. So spray adhesive with this would be perfect, but it's really windy outside right now and trying to snow, so it's not the best weather to go outside and try to glue something down. So we're just going to make this work. And I'm assuming that this dishwasher safe Mod Podge is going to work. Glue is glue. Make sure you get your edges really well, because that's the first place things are going to fall apart on you if you don't have enough glue on your edges. You can always clean them up later. All right, I'm sticking my paper down and I'm lining up the factory cut edge on two sides. I'm going to smooth it out with my hands. And then I have a roller. With something this big, you could probably actually use like a rolling pin would work too. Rolling it down, making sure I get adhesion on all of the edges. If it peels up, I'm just going to add in a little bit more. Making it stick again. If it comes off the edges, just wipe it off. I'm just adding a little more glue in where it's too dry and didn't stick down enough. And really push it down. So I'm going to take a tissue and just wipe around the edges. To get off any extra. And then I'm going to let this just sit and dry for about an hour before I try to carry on. All right, the other thing I need to do is I need to paint the back of my calendar page. And the reason I do that is because these calendar pages were really thin, and if you don't paint it a dark color, you're going to see some of these words come through. And after you do all that work, you just don't want that to happen. So if you're going to trim it at all, I always like to paint it before I trim it because you get a better edge on it. Now, I'm trying to be really careful because I don't want black paint to be on the front edge of my calendar piece. So I'm painting my edge, letting it go ahead and go over, and then I'm wiping it up as I go. Keep a little bottle of water handy that you can dip in, or a little bowl, so you can clean up as you go. Okay, and I'm going to do all four edges that way so that I have a good solid place to work from. I'm using black chalk paint. You do not have to use chalk paint. You can use acrylic paint. But the edges do like to curl up, so it's just a challenge. You could spray paint it. You could do whatever you want with it. Let's try a different approach here. Let's paint almost to the edge. I'm not liking how this one, I've never had one curl up that badly before. In fact, I'm going to take my heat gun to dry this edge out real quick because it's curling very bad. Once you get it dry, it's different. The paper handles differently. So I'm going to go ahead and get this painted real quick. And some people freak out when you see you painting the back of a calendar page because they think you're ruining it. But it actually, in my opinion, makes it easier to decoupage because the paper's already been wet, it's been dried, any wrinkling has already happened, but you haven't glued it down yet, so you can still take it to the iron and smooth it out if you need to. So don't be afraid to do this. I've done this on so many. It changes the texture of your paper, and I think it makes it easier to work with, not harder. But this way you'll be guaranteed that your words and letters on the other side of the calendar page are not going to show through. Okay, I'm trying to hold this still so I don't end up with black paint on the front because I don't plan on trimming it. Okay, I'm going to take the heat gun to it again. And the only reason I'm doing the heat gun is to keep it from curling up and getting paint all over. the ferns. Don't hold it in one space too long. It will blister the paint. Okay, this is mostly dry. When I turn it over, I have some wrinkles. But that's okay. I can smooth them out. And then when I go to decoupage it down, it will be a totally different animal to work with. Okay, so where I blistered my paint, it's showing on the other side a little bit, so be careful about that. And then you can clean this up pretty easily with just water. If you don't have a silicone mat that you work on, then just use a piece of paper or a piece of poster board or something underneath it to protect your surface. All right, I'm going to let both these things dry thoroughly, and then we'll be back to do the rest. Okay, so everything's drying. Actually, everything's dried. I am going to make my bow first so I can figure out where I want my farmhouse print to go. So if I get my board out, I'm going to look and see just how big I want this bow to be. Okay, this is going to be the middle section of my bow, and it is going to measure, if it's laid out flat, 8 inches across, and I've just doubled it over to make a loop. And I'm just going to cut it at an angle so it doesn't ravel, and that's going to be the back where I cut it. Okay, and then because I want the buffalo check, because that's what I've kind of decorated my living room in, I am going to make another loop just slightly larger than the loop I already have. Not a lot larger, but a little bit. And that might be a little too much. Bows are kind of a subjective thing. You make them however big you want. This one's going to be 11. So this one's 11. This one's 8. So this one's going to need to be 5. Actually, I'm going to let it be 6. Okay, so 11, 8, and I did 6. And then I'm going to stack those up, kind of pinch and gather them. Just kind of seeing how it's going to look first before I tie it. I'm actually going to tie this with a pipe cleaner in the middle. That way I can get it super tight. And then I can put my ribbon around it to make it pretty. So you just want to center each loop on top of each one. So you make a nice level little bundle. And then you're going to squeeze them together. And I'm just going to twist. And I'm going to make sure I'm in the middle. And I'm not. So if you're not in the middle, you need to adjust. And then I'm just going to twist. What's nice about the pipe cleaner is you can bend it and get everything coming up just right. Okay. So that's what my bow looks like right now. And then I can go ahead and cut off the tails of my pipe cleaners. And I'm just using a wire cutter because I've killed so many scissors with cutting pipe cleaners. Pushing the tails down. And then I'm going to pause while my glue gun heats up. Okay, well, I'm having some camera difficulties. So I've Mod Podged this on, putting lots of glue on the back of my paper so that it can soak into the burlap. And now I've made my bow and I'm getting ready. I put a little dab of white paint into the hole of the calendar print so that I don't see it quite so much. I'm putting a little glue on the back of my bow and I'm going to glue it just above the print. Then I'm going to refluff my bow. Alright, I like it simple, just like that. It's got more space at the top than it does the bottom, but I'm okay with that. And I like the simple little bow here at the top of the print. And I can fluff that bow up as much or as little as I want. And this one loop has gotten off size, so what I do is I just kind of crimp it in the back where you're not going to see it and adjust it, and it'll be just fine. Okay. All right, there you have it. My simple and quick decoupage project to hang in my living room above my couch. It's just a calendar page, a piece of burlap, and a base from Michaels. Let me know what you're thinking about this project in the comment section below. If you like this project, please give it a thumbs up. That helps my channel to grow. And let me know how you would do this. Would you keep it burlap? Would you put buffalo check? Would you use some other kind of wrapping paper like the chicken wire I had mentioned? How would you change this up to be fitting in your decor? Are we still into the farmhouse style? I don't know. All right. This has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.